Afternoon, Daphne. Good day with Professor Antonio E. Casarao Sr. I'm Mario Barrio and I'm Religious Turaba, and together we are P2, P2 Special Task Force, which analyzes financial statements all over the country. And today, we are going to analyze two financial statements in the Philippines. Bextec Corporation and Bextec Philippines Corporation. Who are they? Bextec Philippines is a merchandise company that produces products for medical purposes, while the Stetson Corporation is a merchandise company that modifies products and services for engineering purposes. Then, let's start. How are we gonna analyze these two financial statements? Now, let's analyze these two financial statements using index number trend analysis. But what is index number trend analysis? Index number trend analysis is an analysis of percentage financial statements where all balance sheet or income statement figures for a base year equal to 100% and subsequent financial statement items are expressed as percentage of their value in the base year. But what is the formula for index number trend analysis? The formula in giving the index number trend analysis is selected period over base period times 100. So what are we waiting for? Let's start analyzing the Stetson Corporation's financial statement. We don't need to compute for financial ratios because previous reporters have already tackled that. Then, this table gives the all the financial ratios of Stetson Corporation. Activity ratios, solvency ratios, profitability ratios, and liquidity ratios. Yes. By using our formula here, trend index, connected period over base period times 100, we come up with this. This table exhibits the definition of the Stetson Corporation. As analyzing the activity ratios, we can conclude that Stetson Corporation is performing their best in collecting their accounts receivable. How they use their assets to generate sales and there is an efficient in controlling its merchandise. Let's now focus on solvency ratios. In terms of solvency ratios, I would say that these indices are unfavorable. Why? Stetson Corporation having a high debt quality ratio over time, they're considered more risky to creditors and investors than companies with lower ratio. As we can see on this table, the indices are continuously increasing. Therefore, Stetson Corporation tends to use more debt financing in their business, showing that the investors haven't funded the operations as much as creditors have. Let's now focus on profitability ratios. Profitability ratios are stable. We can say that the 100, and the 101, 84.70, 95, and so on. In terms of profitability ratios, I would say that the Stetson Corporation can be considered favorable in terms of this, since the computed value of the ratios reflect. As reflected on the results, the Stetson Corporation is selling their inventory at a higher profit percentage in terms of gross margin. In terms of return on assets, ratios over the years show that Stetson produced a favorable net income through its total assets over the period. In terms of return on equity, and as you can see that, return on equity, same as ROA, the firm was able to use the money from shareholders efficiently in order to produce more effective net income. Then, in terms of coverage ratio, the firm was stable enough to service its debt and obligations. Let's now focus on the liquidity ratios. Liquidity ratio, in terms of current ratio, in the first 2 years, the company was excellent in paying off its liabilities obligation. The next 2 years, we can say that it is good right now. Same as the quick ratio analysis. Then, in terms of working capital, the liquidity of the company was. And now, let's start analyzing the financial statement of Bextec Philippines Incorporation. And to begin, let's start analyzing the activity ratio of the company. The accounts receivable for the company result is 541, then continuously increasing. Then, in analyzing the index number trend analysis, it only shows that the company efficiently collect their receivables, and convert it to cash, and effectively manage their assets in order to generate profit. Now, let's go to the profitability ratio of the company. The gross margin ratio results 34% in 2007, then in the succeeding years continuously increasing, and the index number trend analysis shows that it is favorable for the company because the company is able to generate more profit for every sales of their item or product. Now, let's go to the return on asset ratio. Return on asset ratio measures the ability of the company to generate profit from their assets. Now, the ratio of the company is continuously increasing from 1.91 from negative 21.45% in 2007 to 57% in 2011. The index number trend analysis is favorable for the company. It only means that the company is able to utilize profit from its asset. And now, let's go to the return on equity ratio. Return on equity ratio gives us information of how the company is able to generate profit for every piece of investment by the investor. And the ratio shows that it's continuously increasing from negative 35 from the start of the operation, then going higher, then down to 6.95% in 2011. The index number trend analysis of the company is also favorable. It only means that the company able to continue generate more profit for every piece of the company and for every piece of the investment of the investor. And now, let's go to the liquidity ratio of the company. We all know that liquidity ratio measures the ability of the company to pay the short-term obligation. And now, to begin, let's start with the current ratio. The current ratio shows that in year 2007, 2.67, been continuously increasing. We all know that 1:1 ratio for the 1:2 ratio for the company is favorable for in analysis. The index number trend analysis shows that the company is able to pay the short-term obligation using their current assets. And now, let's go to the working capital. Working capital can be calculated by subtracting the current asset to the current liability. The index number trend analysis shows that from the start of the company, it continuously increasing from 167 then down to 432% in 2011. It only shows that the company able to extend their working capital in order to meet the demands of their clients and also to make more profit. And now the cash ratio. The cash ratio shows that from the start of 0.75 continuously increasing to 1.06 to then higher in the last year, which is 2.56 in 2011. And the index number trend analysis shows that the company is doing well because it continuously increasing their cash in order to pay their short-term obligation or to sustain their operation. And last is the solvency ratio. We all know that solvency ratio measures the ability of the company to pay their long-term obligation. In other words, it answer, it tackles the issue of the going concern issue of the company, which is to pay their long-term obligation. We start with to equity ratio. We all know that in analyzing the solvency ratio, in analyzing whether it is favorable or unfavorable, lowest ratio is always favorable for the company. And this equity ratio of the company shows that in year 2007, when 2011, 2013, 2008, fluctuate to 2013, will continuously increasing. The index number 10 analysis shows that it is favorable for the company because they able to maintain to have a small ratio for the equity of the company. Now let's go to the debt to asset ratio. Again, lowest ratio is always favorable for the company. From 0.01, 0.19, then 0.20, then in analyzing the index number 10 analysis, it shows that it increased by 90% in 2008, then fixed with the 200 in year 2011. It only shows that the company able to maintain their debt to asset ratio. And last is the equity ratio. Equity ratio of the company shows that in 2007, 0.90, then 0.81 in 2008, continuously fixed with 0.80 until 2011. The index number trend analysis of the company shows that the company has higher equity or investment by the investor in order to sustain their operation. That's all. In summary, index number 10 analysis is an aspect of technical analysis that tries to predict an account based on past data. The analysis is based on the idea that what was happened in the past gives investors an idea of what will happen in the future. It is helpful because moving with them and not against them will lead to profit for an investor. How about you, partner? For me, we can conclude that index number 10 analysis is an important tool in financial analysis in determining the changes in the company performance in the preceding years of their operation. For the references, again, I am Marco Pardo and I am Maria Turapa, and together we are the...
Good day everyone. Now let's proceed to our next topic about comparative statement analysis. Now let us talk about common size analysis. As the majority of objectives, first is explain the various techniques and tools of analysis of financial statements, and two is to give insight on the use of common size. First, what is common size? Common size is used to compare financial statements of the same company or different companies over different periods. It is shown in analytical percentage. The figures are shown as the percentage of the reference item. For the balance sheet, the total asset, and for the income statement, it's the total sales. The formula for this is the common size equals to the item of interest divided by the reference item. Common size can be used to identify the performance of a company for a given period using two financial statements, the balance sheet or the income statement. As to the balance sheet, all items are expressed in the ratio of each asset to total assets. The formula for this is the item of interest divided by the total assets. The common size statement of two companies that we're going to compare, the Backtech and Celltech. We gather this information or this data from the previous figures given on these two financial statements.
The Backtech Philippines Inc. and the Celltech Corporation.
Now let's focus on the total assets of the two companies. After their liquidity, Baxter Philippines shows that they are less liquid in terms that out of the total assets they have, a big portion of this is compromised by the non-current assets. Although there is a continuous increase on the current asset on 2007 to 2011, still there is a big portion that is covered by the non-current asset, leaving this company less liquid as compared to Stelson Corporation, in which out of their total assets, a big portion was compromised by the total current asset, leaving their company liquid one. As to liabilities and equity, in terms of financing, Baxter Philippines is, we can say that they are conservative in terms that more of their funds that they use in their as investment, they get from their stockholders' equity or for their own funds. Out of the 100% total liabilities and equity, a big portion was compromised by the stockholders' equity compared to current liabilities, showing that they are more dependent on their stockholders' equity as their own as their funds in financing their activities compared to outsiders' funds. While on Stelson Corporation, they are more aggressive since out of the total stockholders' equity and liabilities, more of their funds they use to finance their operations came from the outsiders' funds or from their financing instead of their own funds. So, as a conclusion, in a nutshell, common size analysis is a meaningful technique for identifying trends and changes in a company. Through the values presented in a common size statement, it is easier to see changes in percentage terms than raw numbers. It also makes it easier to compare a company's performance over time and compare two or more companies, especially companies of different sizes. As to my references, these are the sites I use and the business plan that we get from the manual. For the continuation of common size analysis, I am Janice L. Villarreal. For my learning objective, to have knowledge on analyzing the financial position of two companies using common size analysis. Common size income statement analysis allows an analyst to determine how the various components of the income statement affect a company's profit. For my formula, amount of selected period over the amount of base period times 100. Now, let's proceed with analyzing the Stelson Corporation common size income statement. There was a steadily increased cost of sales in proportion to sales for the past 5 years. The gross profit decreases from 23.77% in 2007 to 19.55% in 2010. It shows that the company had a difficulty in generating other income. Poor net income was evident for the past 5 years, which ranges from 1.20% to 2.89%. Next, the analyzation of Baxter Philippines Incorporated common size income statement. The common size statement shows that in 2007, the operating expenses increased, which resulted to greater total costs and expenses of 162.26. That's the revenue of 100%. That caused a net loss of 62.26%. In 2008, the total cost and expenses is 99.25, which gives them net income of 0.49 in 2008, which is lower again. In 2009, the company has a cost of sales of 62.88% and an operating expenses of 36.32, totaling to 99.20%, which gives them a 0.56% of net income. 2010's net income is 0.51% due to the high cost of 55. Good day everyone, I'm April Villarreal and I'm here to report about the cash flow analysis with the learning objective. First, to monitor the movement of cash, particularly inflow and outflow. Second, to maintain adequate cash flow for a business. Third, to provide basis for cash flow management. So, what is cash flow analysis? Cash flow analysis is the study of the cycle of a business cash inflows and outflows through the use of the most important financial statement, the cash flow statement, with the realization of these objectives. The cash flow statement is a listing of the flows of cash into and out of the business or project. The cash flow statement is same as your checking account in a bank. Your deposits are the cash inflows and your withdrawals are the cash outflows. Then the balance in your account is your net cash flow at a specific period. Then there are three sections of cash flow statement. First is the operating cash flows. Operating cash flows is the key source of a company's cash generation. Net income is adjusted for non-cash charges and the increases and decreases to working capital assets and items. Now, let's look at the statement of cash flows of Tencent Corporation. First is Tencent Corporation. It shows there is an unstable trend. We can see that on 2007, the net cash for operating activities is 878,494. Then last 2008, it goes down to negative 1.7 million. It goes down because their other current assets increases and increases. Third, last 2009, their net cash is zero. Last 2010, the net cash is 5.5 million. Tapos, for the year 2010, the net cash provided by operating activities was 5.07 million. The company's accounts receivable have greater amount, meaning they haven't collected those receivables yet. Lastly, for the year 2011, the net cash was negative 1.9 million because their merchandise inventory increased with the amount of 5.4 million. Also, if you will look at the accounts receivable, the uncollected accounts receivable last 2010 decreases from 4.9 to 629,000. Okay, I am Maria Angelica S. Uy to continue the reporting about cash flow analysis. Our learning objectives for today is to monitor the movement of cash, particularly its inflow and outflow, to maintain an adequate cash flow for a business, and to provide basis for cash flow management. Aside from the cash flows from operation, another section in a cash flow statement is the cash flow from investing and cash flow from financing. Cash flows from investing, for the most part, investing transactions generate cash flow such as capital expenditures for plant, property, and equipment, and the purchase of investment securities. While the cash flows from financing are generated by debt and equity transactions with the aim of providing financing for the business. Now let's see the statement of, now let's head to the analysis of the two statements of cash flows of the two companies. First is the Baxtec Philippines. Baxtec Philippines is engaged in selling pharmaceutical equipment. Since they are a merchandising company, they did not need to invest on property and equipment. So they only have an outflow of 220,000 on the first year of their operation. While Tencent Corporation is a manufacturing and merchandising company which engage in producing and selling auxiliary products. That's why they have varying cash flows throughout the covered period. Aside from that, they also invest in stocks which give them inflows. but their outflows that are invested in property and equipment are still larger than the dividends that they receive. So they still have an outflow for the net in investment activities. Like in their financing activities, BACTEC also have an transaction only once in their financing activities, while Crescent Corporation gets its financing mainly from their stockholders. So overall, considering the analysis of the cash flows, it appears that Crescent Corporation appears to perform better due to their varying cash flows during the covered period of 2007 to 2011. For the conclusion, the details in the three distinct sections of the cash flow statement, namely operations, investing, and financing, provide insight in the liquidity and solvency, as well as the company's ability to meet future needs for capital and growth. Cash flow statement is not only concerned with the amount of cash flows but also its timing, which is necessary in cash flow analysis.